yesterday morning when their aircraft disappeared from airport radars. Briefing his nation earlier today, Chakwera said despite the track record and the experience of the crew, something terribly went wrong.
Something terrible went wrong with that aircraft on its flight back to Lilongwe, sending it crashing down and killing everyone on board, and leaving us all devastated and asking ourselves questions whose answers cannot take away the pain.
On the weather front, a fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 0, peaking at 17. Pretoria 2 and 18. Vereniging a very cold -2, also reaching a high of 18 degrees. Lerato Huffela, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Taylor, what's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala!
After a long time, Rob, Bafana now have an identity. I don't know how fans are feeling now after criticizing Hugo Bruce for selecting so-called average players.
You can't disagree with that if you watch that game against the Nigerians, and I certainly hope that all our fans here in South Africa, and especially in and around Bloemfontein and around the Free State, to support Bafana as they play another crucial game against Zimbabwe.
I think we need more teams in KZN. We can't allow the Richards Bay just go like that, go NFT.
Cape Town Spurs, the team that's been relegated from the DStv Premiership, have surprisingly reappointed coach Ernest Middendorp. And Sekhukhune United, I believe that they had approached you as well.
I don't know about. Who is this?
Sekhukhune United.
Listen, guys, I see all the fantastic, Jesus goodness, monthly payment for Ulani, for other coaches and so on. I should be jealous. Money is fantastic, but money can only eat to a certain extension. It's not important for me.
I've never had such a difficult homework, even in my school days. You know, writing a homework and all of that, and then send it back to Floyd. And then he marks, reads all of it. I said, no.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
What a way to start the show, man. What a way to start the show. Hardly, 15 seconds into the game. Bafana playing against Zimbabwe. Oh, it's absolute madness. It took less than a minute for South Africa to score a goal. This is live action coming through from Bloemfontein. There hasn't been a Bafana game there in 14 years. It's taken them seconds to score a goal. Ikram Reina scoring. Went back to the center line. They restarted the game, and believe you me, it is 1-1, and it's just a minute played in that game. Sheer madness at the venue. I don't know what the records and the record books are going to be saying about this one here. We've hardly blinked, and I don't think we are going to be blinking. So whatever you're doing on the road, don't worry. We'll keep you up to date. That is just how hot the action has been since we got here. We try to celebrate, 14 years since South Africa had its 2010 FIFA World Cup right here in Mzansi. It was nice and cold. I don't know where you were. You can always send us a WhatsApp voice note, remind us of where you were. But you know what? If it's starting in such dramatic fashion, I have not seen something like this. Eh? This is a World Cup qualifier, guys. And also, again, 14 years since Bafana last played in Bloemfontein. There are just as many Zimbabwean fans there as I'm sure there are South African fans. So it's going to be one merry party going down. But you are part of the #MSW shareholders party right here. So listen very carefully. We'll update you. We've got a mixed bag, a very, very busy show while taking in the celebrations of the 14-year celebration as far as the FIFA World Cup is concerned. Well, let's not lose the momentum, though, because before we talk anything to do with cricket, I see Gift is already on hold. I will chat to him in a second. But, man, as we look back at the 2010 FIFA World Cup, and I guess like football fans around the world, FIFA President Gianni Infantino himself saying that he is counting down the days with exactly 2 years to go until the FIFA World Cup 26 kicks off. The FIFA president saying that the 23rd edition of the FIFA World Cup, which starts on the 11th of June 2026 at the iconic Estadio Azteca Mexico Stadium, would be the greatest event and the greatest show, as well as the greatest tournament that the world has ever seen. It'll also be the most inclusive FIFA World Cup ever, featuring a record 48 teams and hosted by 16 cities across 3 countries, namely Canada, Mexico, as well as the United States of America.
2 years from now, 11th of June 2026, the kickoff of the greatest event, the greatest show, the greatest tournament that the world has ever seen in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. 48 countries, 48 national teams participating, 104 games, which will be the equivalent to 104 Super Bowls in 39 days until the 19th of July. So in 2 years from now, the world will stand still and watch what is happening in North America. The trophy is already here, ready. We take care of it. And we are all getting ready, gearing up for the competition, preparing everything. So you have to look forward. Preparations are happening actually everywhere in the world, indeed, not just in the host cities. In the host cities, of course, we are working with the authorities, with the stadium owners and operators, with the local communities of all 16 host cities. Fantastic collaboration everywhere. Looking forward to welcome millions and millions of fans from all over the world. Smooth preparations. The stadiums are absolutely beautiful, and these are all cities which are used to welcome people. Everyone is getting ready in the cities, and everyone is getting ready around the world with qualifiers for the World Cup happening already in many continents. Today on the 11th of June in Africa and in Asia, the national teams are playing to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. So it's still 2 years away, but it's very much present every day.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Monday to Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. #MSW.
All right, where were you when the Proteas were playing last night? Well, they had an impressive run, though, in the T20 World Cup, winning all 3 of their games in challenging conditions in New York. They're currently at the top of their group, which is Group D. And it's also very hard-fought victories that have seen them serving them well as the tournament progresses. One of the best players last night, Keshav Maharaj, had a very composed defense of 11 runs in the final over, leading South Africa to that thrilling 4-run victory against Bangladesh in the T20 World Cup, a Group D game at the Nassau County Stadium on Long Island in New York. Now let's take a closer look at the Proteas' performance with a brief chat here to Gift, cricket analyst, because my oh my, so much to talk about, but we'll knuckle it down very nicely here. Gift, it's been a while, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rolf. Thank you.
What was going through your mind? Did you think you would make it last night?
Well, all the games, it's been a tight affair. I promise you, if the Proteas don't give a lot of us cardiac arrest at this World Cup, we are very strong human beings.
Do you think they take anything? Do you think they take anything from the Springboks in Paris, where it was just a case of 1 point?
Yeah, I think they love it when they keep the fans on the edge. I think they do this intentionally, but yeah, it's just thrillers all the way. It's tight games, and it's good for the Proteas that they're winning these tight games. It shows that the maturity and the mental toughness that the middle order of the Proteas has. So it's very good for the Proteas going forward. But hey, it's not good for us fans, because I promise you, I don't know how busy are the hospitals whenever the Proteas are playing.
Tell me about the bowling and the batting so far from the Proteas.
Well, the bowling has been exceptional. We mustn't take anything away from them. Batman has been a revelation at this World Cup. The bowling has been exceptional. I remember talking to some people earlier on, just before the World Cup, and I said it looks like this is going to be the World Cup of bowlers. And people were saying, why do you say that? I said, we're going into an unknown territory in the US, and I feel the bowlers have the upper hand. And our South African bowlers, not just South African bowlers, but the bowlers in general in New York, they've done well. Because remember, even if you still have to bowl on difficult pitches, you still have to hit your lines, you still have to hit your lengths, but credit to the bowlers, they've made it very difficult for the batters to score, and the pitches have assisted the batters, which is, it's something different. We just came from the IPL where the pitches are just flat, and 125 runs were scored off 6 overs in one of the matches, and now teams are even struggling to get to 120 at this World Cup in 20 overs. So the bowling has been exceptional. Batman, like I've said, has been exceptional. The seamers, Nokia just came back from that injury, and he's just fire all the way. So it's quite pleasing. It's quite pleasing when it comes to bowling, especially when you see the Proteas, doing so well under, those conditions that are assisting the bowlers. And it's just something amazing. So we will see. Hopefully the batting catch up soon with the bowlers, and then we can have, both sets of skills balanced, and we can fight all the way to the final.
And I know you mentioned the pitch, though. Just let's zoom into the New York one more especially. What have been the plus and minuses from them, and sort of what reports have been coming out?
Look, this pitch has been from the preparation, the way they've explained how they've prepared this. They've used some 60% of some soil, black stick soil, and it's similar to the Adelaide Oval. Then it was taken to Dallas to be stored there because it was winter in New York. Then it had to be shipped to New York, and it's a new strip. Usually what happens with new strips is that they will play some domestic games on it so that they get used to being played on. But these are just very new and also playing international cricket on it, which was something that was very strange for cricket fanatics. And the pitches have been too paced, and it's a very difficult pitch to bat on. I think the average score there it's 120 or even less. It's something that's very strange. It's a strange decision that was taken by ICC to just use, a fresh strip for international events like this. So usually you'll have domestic games being played on so that it gets more mileage in terms of being used as a playing facility. But it was a very surprising decision, and nothing was said in terms of has it passed the inspection and that, but it was formally announced as one of the venues, which tends to give you that sense of doubt. Was it passed, because it was just formally announced that it's one of the venues. So but I think it's for a change it's good that the bowlers get some assistance and the batters get to think a bit.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that tacky surface as well, would you say or agree with the decision taken by Makram opting to give Rabada the 18th over and Batman the penultimate 19th?
Yeah, well, if Makram doesn't do it now, he can't try that when we win the Super 8, and the guys have to be prepared for it, And look, I'm happy with Kagiso. I'm happy with how Batman has just blossomed at international scene. I think after this, he's gonna be a superstar. Yes, Makram knows the guys well. Makram won the World Cup with Rabada at under 19, so they've got that good rapport and. Look, I don't doubt Makram's decisions. I think he's well informed of the team that he's captaining at the moment, and any decision that he's taking. Look at yesterday's last over. Who would have bowled a spinner in the T20 last over, and it paid off. So he knows the troops well, and all the best to him. And I hope that this can be the year where we celebrate the Proteas World Cup for a change. We get to celebrate as South Africans, not get disappointed at the semi-final stage.
Yeah, let's not use that C word again anytime soon, man, because I think we need to get over the line at some point. Gift. A quick one, though, on the upsets. I saw Afghanistan and New Zealand, and then you also the USA and Pakistan.
Well, when I saw the USA game in Pakistan and USA won that, I just said, USA, what have you done? What have you done? Because it was just something else. Afghanistan, I mean, those guys, they don't just play cricket for themselves. They play for the situation back at home. They play for everyone at home. They're giving hope. And to clean up New Zealand like that, a very, well organized, experienced New Zealand, and on paper, a very strong New Zealand team. So it's good. It's good to have this such upsets, and also it's just an eye opener to see what the US can do. To see what the Afghanistans are capable of. So maybe it's one of those World Cup where we'll have 2 non-test playing nations, maybe contesting in the final, one playing test nation playing, and one that's an associate playing in the final. It should be nice for cricket. It should be something something different. But I would love to see the hosts go all the way, and they're on the brink of making the Super 8. It would be awesome. It would be awesome for them to repeat what Kenya did, in one of the World Cups, to go all the way to the semi-finals. It would be awesome. And for Afghanistan to play like that, they've been playing promising cricket over the years, and they just love the 2020s. They just enjoy playing the 2020s. And yeah, it would be awesome to see, 2 or 3 so-called small countries in terms of cricket making it all the way to the Super 8. That would make it a very interesting run for the big boys.
All right, before you disappear, another good story for the continent, Uganda winning their first ever World Cup game.
Wow, the Ugandan story it's a story of hope. It's a story of hope to think those guys used to come to Benoni and play, in the African qualifiers, to qualify for regional, to qualify for the World League, and all of a sudden they're now playing in the world stage. It's just a dream for Africa, and this dream has not just started now with Uganda. When the ladies of Rwanda played in the Under-19 Women's World Cup, when they won against West Indies, again it was another a game of hope. It was just a dream, and it was just saying to Africa it is possible. And yes, it's awesome. It's awesome to have 3 African teams there, and to have them at the World Cup, and to have Uganda winning their first, World Cup game, and at their first appearance, it brings lots of hope to other African countries that are, small in terms of cricket and that are playing cricket, to say we can also do it at the next World Cup. We can also do it in the future. So that is just bringing a story of hope. It's a big story when it comes to cricket development in Africa.
I'm going to be chatting to you more as the tournament grows. Gift Tlaga, thank you so much for your time. Good evening.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
All right, great stuff indeed, man. That's cricket analyst Gift Tlaga chatting to us right here on hashtag MSW all the way in Benoni, and we'll get all of the news from him as the tournament grows in, and hopefully the Proteas continue to do us proud. It's still 1-1, Bafana and Zimbabwe. As we celebrate, as I asked you, where were you? Where were you on that day, 2010? FIFA World Cup.
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
This time for Africa.
Now, friends, before I tell you who is going to be in the final.
Here comes Shabalala. He's got a chance here. My goodness. What a fantastic goal for South Africa. What a way to open the scoring in the 2010 World Cup.
It's unbelievable. Hey, I'm dreaming, man. I'm dreaming. Wake me up. Wake me up.
Great opportunity in behind the defence. Here's a chance. Shabalala 1-1. South Africa score. Sapiwe Shabalala rocks the nation. And there's the celebration for a man making his 50th appearance.
Oh, what a lovely dream. Africa!
It's Africa's first World Cup, and it's the host South Africa against the Mexican side. It's on here now. The goalkeeper's beaten, and South Africa have their first goal. Sipiwe Shabalala.
We are all Africans.
Oh, what a finish that was from Shabalala on the first goal in the 2010 World Cup. On African soil goes to the home nation, and what a goal it was.
We're all Africans.
Goal for South Africa. Goal for all Africa. Jabulila. Rejoice. Bafana have topped the first court on their day.
Africa.
Marawa Sports Worldwide. Monday to Friday. Friday weekdays. #MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Yeah, we see them rolling, these wannabe players, all the bling in the brands, desperate for the Riz on the socials. Here's a secret. With Lulabet, anyone can be a serious player. You get all the hottest table games and slots with easy registration and unbeatable support 24/7, anytime, anywhere, like a boss player. Lulabet, make the score you want with less hustle, less hassle, and more yes. Don't just bet, Lulabet.
Lulabet supports the National Responsible Gambling Program. Winners know when to stop. Only persons over 18 are permitted to gamble. Problem gambling counselling toll-free hotline 08600 006 008.
With Range Rover Sport, you know there's a dynamism and luxury that's second to none. But did you know there's also guaranteed future value finance, where at the end of your term, you can refinance, trade in, or retain your Range Rover Sport? That's worth knowing. Find out more at Land Rover East Rand. T's and C's apply. Finance is subject to approval. Land Rover Finance, a product of Westbank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider, NCR CP20.
Our belongings are more than just things. They're part of our stories. Like the car you took on that road trip where you got lost but found yourself. The home where your son took his first steps. The gaming console you played when he defeated you for the first time.
ABSA Insurance covers things that matter with simple, affordable car, home, and contents insurance. For competitive premiums, 24/7 emergency roadside and home assistance. Visit absa.co.za to get a quote. Move to ABSA Insurance today. Your story matters. ABSA, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Change the game and change your color with the Vivo Y100. With 80 watts super fast flash charge, you'll leave the crowd stunned. Reach for the powerful and stylish Vivo Y100 smartphone for all the power you need at work and at home. For only $399 per month over 36 months on a 1.3 gig red card top-up package. Don't miss out. Take advantage. Yes! Deal valid till 4 July at Vodacom for you stores. T's and C's apply.
It's finally here. The Mzansi Food and Drink Show is happening from 15 to 17 June at Kailami Racetrack. It's 5 shows in one. Fire and Feast flavoured by 6 Gun Grill. Fine food and wine. Coffee and chocolate. Bar and good spirits. And the Mzansi Food Market. From competitions, tastings, demo theatres to indulgent gastronomy experiences. Plus, lots for the kids. Get your tickets today at Howler. The first ever Mzansi Food and Drink Show. It's a fusion of taste.
From accompanying you on every journey to comforting you on rainy days, a Home Choice blanket is a blanket for life. Whether you want to cuddle up in cozy luxury or spoil a loved one, Home Choice has a wide selection to choose from, ranging from lightweight to extra warm 7 kg blankets. Plus, with Home Choice's 3-for-2 blanket deal, you get a free designer blanket in a gorgeous floral, traditional, or animal print. Shop now at homechoice.co.za for the home you love.
Marawa Sport Worldwide.
Shabalala, goal for Bafana, goal for South Africa, goal for all of Africa. Shaba, there's Piradjuri, there's Shabalala.
What a privilege to be on the line at the same time as the man himself. That man is a hero of mine. What a day, what a memory. I really didn't think that I would share the airwaves with you. Your goal was one of the most important goals that's been scored in the whole history of international football. I thank you for it because it did a lot for me.
Thank you so much, Peter. I'm just emotional hearing you saying those kind words. When you did the commentary, you did it like you knew who I was. You did it with passion as well. And I'm so happy now that I'm even speaking to you. I didn't expect to speak to you. I thank you so much and I'm truly grateful.
#MSW.
Yeah, that all happened 14 years ago, believe it or not. 2010 FIFA World Cup here in South Africa. And we're still asking the question, where were you? Drop us a WhatsApp voice note. I'll keep you up to date with the game. Zimbabwe playing against South Africa right now. The madness of the first 2 minutes of football. I'll have to give my good old friend Mark Leeson a call and find out if we've ever seen anything like this has ever happened in SA football history. Talk about making history. That is why we brought our guests in studio tonight, because they're also about to make their own bit of history. Now, we've all heard of touch rugby, eh? I think it's one of those sports when it's raining and people just take a ball out and they want to tackle and mess around. But who ever thought that this is a sport that you could go to a World Cup for? And it doesn't often make headlines, and that's the sad part here in South Africa. But the country is gearing up to participate in the upcoming 2024 Touch World Cup in Nottingham in England. Now, the event is scheduled to run from the 15th of July, just around the corner, to the 21st of July, and will be the largest Touch World Cup to date, featuring 40 countries, 180 plus teams, and over 4,000 participants competing across different divisions. Now, the first Touch World Cup took place back in 1988. And back then, there was only 13 teams, but the tournament has since grown significantly. Now, the 2019 Malaysian World Cup had 116 teams in attendance, and tonight we have a representative from Gauteng Touch to provide more details, though, about this exciting event. And what a great honor for us to have live in studio three of the finest, should I say three of the greatest?
The top players.
Yeah, the top players, including the chairman himself, who is here in studio. So it goes without saying. Daniel, I'm going to have to start off with you. As the big boss, you've been given that title from everybody else here in the studio. Daniel Ackerman, who is the top male player, Touchbox Men's 30s Mixed Open coach and manager, and he's also the Gauteng Touch chairman. Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here.
Excited. 15 is just around the corner.
Nervous. More than excited. It's, as you say, it's around the corner, but there's still a month to go of preparation. So still working hard. We've got an SA camp this weekend.
Yeah.
So Father's Day will be there running on the field. So looking forward to it.
Well, that's what Youth Month is all about, keeping you looking younger and younger as well. But the preparations, though, so far, how have they been challenging, I can imagine?
They have been challenging. We've got, if I speak across from a South African perspective, there's 8 or 9 teams going to the World Cup to represent us across the different divisions. Mm-hmm. A lot of our players are either scattered around the country or they are scattered around the world. If I look at Marcus and I men's 30s team, we've got 6 players that live overseas. Mm-hmm. So getting them to the country for a camp or a training session has been quite the challenge. But it's been interesting. Preparations are good. We're looking forward to it.
But what are the financial constraints? Because I don't want to beat about the bush. I want to get straight down to it and find out that we can all talk about it. And yet a lot of people know that it's not a very cheap sport. It's almost like a pay per play as you go. Yeah. Now, if you're not able to afford that, then it kind of leaves you and your talent completely out. How do you manage?
So it is a pay-to-play sport, and that is across the country. How do we manage? So from a Gauteng perspective, we've done our absolute best that no player either from a provincial nationals perspective or World Cup is left behind because of financials. So we run fundraisers, we speak to our alumni, contact sponsors, we do everything we can to try to get our players to the other side. And I can proudly say, to my knowledge at least, we haven't left a player provincially or nationally behind from a national tournament or a World Cup. We make it plan. We make it happen.
But for a World Cup, though, what would it take if there's a financial constraint right now? I don't even know. I don't even think government contributes anything in terms of the kitty from your side. What would it take to get everybody across for the World Cup itself?
So it's unfortunately a bit of a tough question. We're looking at about 55 to 60,000 rand per person across 16 players in your team, 9 teams. You're looking at 2 or 3 million just from a financial. And that's not even including your spending money, your visas, your food on that side. So from an individual perspective, we're looking at 60K per person, fundraising individually and collectively as a team. There is no government support for us, unfortunately. We would love to have the likes of the Golden Lions, the SARU, all those sorts of governing bodies to see us. I mean, when I look internationally, you're looking at Australia and New Zealand as the 2 best touch playing nations. All of their 15 stars that you see at the World Cup all come from touch. Their background is touch rugby. So as soon as the governing bodies in this country can recognize what touch rugby can do for our 15s rugby, I mean, we've just won the World Cup. I'm pretty sure we get touch players involved there, playing, coaching, guiding.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
And when I look at for example, just the Springboks, and all form part of SARU, what they have in terms of the sponsorship is crazy, and it's good for them because it's what rugby has brought into the country. Has been a great deal of success, and especially back-to-back World Cups. You don't achieve that any time. I think also the Sevens rugby also gets a great deal of support, and you can understand why the track record has been great. Maybe in recent time, not as good a result and returns as can be. But let me bring the lady in. Kristin Graaff is here, top female player, also Touch Ladies Open player as well. Good to have you on the show. Good evening and welcome.
Great, thank you. Excited to be here.
Excited for the World Cup, I would imagine. And I think barring everything that we are talking about now, just in terms of the difficulties and the struggles, for you, what does this mean personally?
Oh gosh, yeah, I think it's a very full question.
Yeah.
I think this will be my third time representing South Africa, so I've been through this process before, and I think it doesn't get less exciting, to be a part of this journey. I think, like you mentioned, there are a few struggles, and especially having players spread across South Africa. We've got players in Cape Town, in Durban, that we've at some point got to get together, and that comes at a cost as well for flights. But nonetheless, I think we're all putting in the effort behind the scenes, and I don't think however many times that you do play a World Cup, it never gets less exciting or a privilege to actually represent your country and take part in now for this year, one of the biggest tournaments for touch rugby.
Yeah, I think it is massive, but also massive for you because you've been in the leadership role as vice captain. You've walked away, as I'm sure a guy like Marcus has walked away as the MVP. But you did what, like 3 times back to back again, 2016, 17 and 18. Yeah. What has that feeling been like? And have you seen it help the sport to grow? You know, maybe people that didn't believe that it can be, and then they see your growth and they believe that they can join. Just tell me about the influence you've had personally.
Yeah, I think Jeepers from a young age, sport influencing all aspects of your life. I love team sports, always been involved in them from the beginning of school career. I think the friends aspect of it and the friends you make along the way, sitting here with Ace and Marcus, we've been friends for over 10 years now, through touch rugby, which is amazing, and the people you've met along the way. Those MVPs you mentioned, those were the junior tournaments back in the day, the early days of touch. I think so privileged, I guess, to be able to play and be healthy and fit enough to take on these tournaments and represent at that level for Gauteng at a provincial level.
And then just Malaysia itself, what sort of experience did that bring you?
Wow, Malaysia was interesting. So I played in the Junior World Cup in 2018 for the under-20 ladies team, and then again for the Open ladies in 2019. Malaysia, I think, brought its own challenges. We were playing in extreme heat.
Was it the humidity factor, yeah?
I think South Africa didn't come close to Malaysia. Very far. I think one of the thermometers picked up 58 degrees Celsius on one of the days that we were playing. So I think that came with its own challenges. London's probably going to be a bit different. We're going to experience some rain, some coldness. But I think we probably prepared for pretty much anything and expect anything to happen.
Well, I think you'd rather have the UK weather, hey? Because I think for touch, that's much, much better. Marcus Nkwane, top male player, also touch Bok, men's 30s in studio. Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Robert. Lovely to be here.
What's going through your mind? Because a World Cup is a World Cup. We see the T20 World Cup. The cricketers are there as we speak. Bafana are trying to get to a World Cup. We've seen the women play football in Australia, New Zealand. They were playing in the World Cup. Hey, the rugby boys, the men's 15, have been doing it.
Yeah.
Now the ball's in your court.
The pressure. What I can say, Robert, is that, like Chris said, we enjoy the sport very much. So for us, the build-up is that the way we enjoy it so much is that we can keep going. We like the challenge. So we're going out there to represent our country, and we're going there not to just play around. So we're going there to compete. And that's been one of my biggest goals, is making sure there we go and compete, come back with a medal, whatever medal it might be, but we are going there to compete. And with the team that we have now with Ace here, is that we have a very strong team and we can compete to the highest level. But it also comes down to it's a mindset. So that's why I say for myself, we're up for the challenge. But as a team, I think we can accomplish a lot of things with this team. It's similar team that we had in the 2019 World Cup. But I think the growth is there. Everyone's more advanced and like they're willing to go out there and go to war for us.
What makes the big difference, though? Because as mentioned in our earlier conversation, that the Australians and the New Zealanders managed to do well in the same way that they managed to do well in the Commonwealth Games, the Olympic Games. There's a lot of money that is put into the sport and into multiple sports as well. And you get not only involvement from government, you get involvement from the Lotteries Board, for example. And that is why they continue to chart up all of these medals every time. What do you think we need to do? Because in as much as we're saying, hey, there's no funding, we also need to come up and say, guys, this is what we suggest needs to be done.
That's a tough one because it's literally about the money, but we need the right people or the right connections in terms of getting people on board and recognizing the sport. I think that's where the problem is, that it's not recognized. It might be an amateur sport, but it's not recognized. And what it gives out into rugby, the skill sets that it actually gives, you can tell from a player that's played touch rugby and just a player that's just playing rugby in terms of skill sets. There's a lot of skill set that you go through in touch rugby that can help you in a rugby game or rugby career as well. Doesn't mean that you only have, because 6 down or touch, you're avoiding getting touched. Now, in a rugby game, if I can avoid that and still handle my ball and be able to pass, it's a big difference. So that's why we need to get our SARIs in there, our big people, government in there to help us in this. But it all goes down to money, because we need to put the investment from a junior level up until seniors. I also personally coach. I coach in Greenside High School, where some of the kids, the skills are there, but you can see some of them are struggling with financials and all of that. And as a coach, you'd want to help them go all the way, but you can't, because you also need that bit of finance that you get to save for my own World Cup.
But I know it was early days, but I mean, one of the contributing factors towards just confidence building would have been your MVP. I think we might laugh at that a little bit now when you go back, but it's an achievement for somebody that started to love the sport at a later stage in your life.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I've always wanted to stand out.
Yeah.
So it was always my goal. It wasn't my goal to be MVP, but I was going out there to put the best of the best that I could for my team.
Right.
Then you get recognized. It builds you even up even higher. So I kept on doing that, and I still do that. Kristin knows, and she hates playing against me because I always push it to the limit where like we can always do better.
Right.
And having come back from the World Cup, the 2019 World Cup, is that we still got a long way. We still got a long way from a junior level to a senior level. We are 10 years behind. We've been fair.
That's polite.
Yeah, that's being polite.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
be honest, guys. Talk about it. Don't wait for any questions from me. I want this to be a chat.
No, to jump in there, I mean, as Marcus pointed out, finances are an issue. But we go down to Cape Town for junior nationals in September. We've got to get flights and accommodation for 114 players. Flights to Cape Town, accommodation in Cape Town is going to cost a pretty penny. So finances are great, but if we could have an airline come on board across the country, so now there's a 20% discount on flights.
Yeah.
That'll help us. A hotel group around the country, that traveling associations, when they come to nationals in the 3 different hubs, stay at our hotels around the country. It starts to build a relationship within the touch community, which allows players who are scraping together money for a flight now have money for a flight and for food. So just those little additions that we have. And then
I was going to say that South Africans that are listening to the show right now, you might be catching this on the YouTube channel, you might be catching it wherever you're catching it around the world. South Africans have always had the good heart. And maybe you might be hearing this for the very first time with regards to touch rugby, as far as it reaching a World Cup stage. Yes, it's not something they're dreaming about. This is a reality. And all it needs and all it takes is somebody to have a sense of belief in what is being requested. And trust me, it would make such a big, big difference. Now, I think if we can succeed in different forms of rugby, this is another form of rugby that we can definitely succeed in. And, just trust me, going through the history of touch rugby, I've been so fascinated. And that's why having the guys here in studio to talk and tell us their story has, for me, been just an achievement and a half. It'll make my day, it'll make their day, it'll make so many other people's days if we are able to assist them, because, my goodness, sport is such a great alleviator of anything, from poverty to success, to holding that trophy and the gold medal. Sure. South Africans, let's do this.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a final boarding call for Lotto Star's Aviator to the Land of Fortune. All passengers, please proceed to lottostar.co.za to cash out. You could win payouts of up to 20 million rand. To date, 175 players have become instant millionaires thanks to our lucky plane. Take off with Lotto Star, your world of live games. Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
You know what's the problem with advertising? Advertising fell in love with conversion rates and click-throughs, but forgot that there are people behind those data points. At Zero Digital Consultancy, we believe people aren't just numbers, and numbers aren't just figures. We specialize in questioning, understanding, and optimizing data so your business reaches the right people. Get started. Email info@startatzero.agency to find out more.
It's Harold's Net Florist Hotline. Lily on the line.
Harold, Father's Day last year was such a trauma.
Grab a tissue. Someone's got daddy issues.
Back then, I identified as non-gift buying.
The poor man.
Nope. He identified as Wi-Fi password fluid. I, literally died.
If only that were true.
What?
Nothing. Just spoiled Dad with a lovely surprise from Net Florist. First 1,000 orders get a free Lunt Chocky. You'd be nuttier than squirrel poo not to. Non-triggering smoochers. Net Florist. It's easy to show you key.
You have big goals for your business. You're scaling more, sleeping less, in desperate need of a cash flow boost. But you're too tired to hoop through the jumps. So what do? Lula. It's fast, easy Lula to get business funding of up to 5 million rand in 24 hours. Apply online in minutes with no paperwork, no obligations, and no collateral needed. Apply today at lula.co.za and make cash flow.
Checkers XXL Savings is back with new deals every week. Save extra on Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee 200 or 230 grams, any two for 179 rand, and Twin Saver 2-ply toilet rolls for 69.99 per pack. Plus, stand to win the weekly XXL jackpot. Simply buy any 3 participating products, swipe your extra savings card, and get a scratch card to enter. Deals valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
I tried everything. I just couldn't get rid of the weight. Until I found the root cause of my weight problem. Long phone calls with my car insurance company. So I got Naked. With Naked's AI-powered weight loss technology, getting car insurance is faster than ever. I signed up in 90 seconds, all on the app, without waiting for anything. Thanks, Naked. Start your weight loss journey now at naked.insure. Lose weight. Get Naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Marawa Sport Worldwide.
Shabalala, goal for Bafana, goal for South Africa, goal for all of Africa. Shaba, there's Piradjuri. Piradjuri, there's Shabalala.
What a privilege to be on the line at the same time as the man himself. That man is a hero of mine. What a day, what a memory. I really didn't think that I would share the airwaves with you. Your goal was one of the most important goals that's been scored in the whole history of international football. I thank you for it because it did a lot for me.
Thank you so much, Peter. I'm just emotional hearing you saying those kind words. When you did the commentary, you did it like you knew who I was. You did it with passion as well. And I'm so happy now that I'm even speaking to you. I didn't expect to speak to you. I thank you so much and I'm truly grateful.
MSW.
Waving a flag is all that we really want to do, and this time around we want to do it with our touch box. Hey, waving the flag. Imagine you come back from a World Cup and it's exactly what you want to do. Stand on the podium, have the flag, sing the national anthem, and you come back victorious. It is just that. As I said, it's gold, it's silver, it's bronze, whatever it is. You just want to try, be there, make a difference. South Africa on the football fronts playing against Zimbabwe. It is still 1-0 as it stands right now. Rwanda have just scored against Lesotho. So that is 1-0 to Rwanda. World Cup qualifiers, exciting times. 14 years since football went down there from a Bafana perspective to Bloem. 14 years since the FIFA World Cup. And guess what? It could be history as well in the making as far as touch rugby is concerned. But only if, the big corporates begin to speak the right language and support. Daniel Ackerman is here. Kristin Graaff is here. We got Marcus Nkwane also here. Good thing I haven't bumped into him on the road.
I was waiting for that.
You haven't stopped me, have you?
Nope. I've stopped some people.
You've stopped some people?
Yeah. I don't know if I can mention names, but yeah.
Of course you can.
Name and shame.
No.
You've stopped some easy, yeah?
Stopped some easy. Lodge.
Okay.
Who else? Who's the ex-coach? What Kaizer Chiefs now?
You've also stopped half the touch community.
Yeah, half the community as well.
Are you like in the fourways area or what?
No, Randburg.
Randburg.
Very local.
Oh, okay. All right, if you're wondering what you're talking about, I mean, this man's a Metro cop, guys, so you got to be careful. Hey. So if you've stopped such big names, I'm sure they were only drinking water, so which is great. That's all we encourage. As we talk, the serious stuff, and the days begin to get closer and closer, the end goal, what will ultimately mean success for the collective? I mean, as chair, you sit through, the challenges, you've been there, you've had your nose busted, all sorts of things have happened in your career. But what would mean a significant difference and progress for this World Cup?
I think on a personal level, to have that first minute of that first game in a World Cup, breaking my nose in the last minute of the warm-up game, missing a World Cup is never easy.
Yeah.
So that was my own personal mental climb that I had to fight. So personally, just to play the first game would be fantastic. From a team and provincial and national level, pipe dream, obviously all the teams to come back with medals, that would be fantastic. But I want our players to come back with an experience. So in most cases, touch rugby players go one of two ways after a World Cup. They come back and they hated it, so they stop the sport, or they love it and then they just get themselves invested. So I want to see all of our players give back to the communities, the associations that have helped them get to a World Cup. Let's use the knowledge and experience that we've gained in Nottingham and the exposure that we're going to get and grow the sport. Those who know me, this sport is my life. I eat, sleep, breathe this, and I do nothing but this sport pretty much. So I know I'm obsessed, but I just want us to have the opportunity to grow the sport in such a way that it shows our general South African community how wonderful the sport could actually be for everyone. So that's my pipe dream.
And because you're not classed as professional, which I would imagine it isn't, because then you wouldn't have to double up. And I mention what Marcus does, not for anything, but to highlight the fact that even yourself, Kristin, you specialist finance recruitment consultant. So you have to almost straddle your time between that and achieving super athlete fitness levels, training camps, and so on. Tell me about the level of difficulty that comes with that.
Yeah, wow. I think because it's not a professional sport and we're not being paid to do this and it's not our full-time job, everyone's got lives, family, kids, whatever it is. Work, I'm also studying part-time, so burning the candle at three different ends. So it is a struggle trying to become an elite athlete, essentially, if you're trying to compete with the likes of Australia and New Zealand, who I don't want to say they are fully professional, I would say semi-professional, but I guess the structures and the training schedules and the facilities that they've got on that side and maybe even to England and France. I think Australia and New Zealand are in their own league, but if we're comparing maybe like for like, we don't have that time, the resources, the facilities. Whatever we're doing is on our own accord. It's whatever effort we've decided to put in our own time. And that's going to see a high performance coach or running by yourself at 5 o'clock in the morning to get, miles on the legs. Or some people, if we're going back to the cost perspective, some people can't afford a gym membership. So, you're doing your home workouts, you're running up the hills, whatever it is to get as fit as possible in the time that we do have during the work day and the family life and the study life. So absolutely, it's a challenge, but I was thinking if there's one country that can do it, it's South Africa. We just seem to be faced with all of these challenges, but somehow we've all got a smile on our face and we wake up at 5 o'clock and we do it in our own time.
Yeah, I think on that is that because that's how we've all become friends. So you like she says, running at 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes you feel very lazy, but you send a text or a message, be like, actually, let's go train. Gives you that motivation and you have lots to talk about, catch up. And it gives you that peace of mind of just saying, like, you can relax now. Like, you've done your work today. Now this is you to offload. And now it's like to go to a World Cup is that now I need to be serious and push myself even more. So I still have my work, but this is also part of our work for us. We enjoy it that much. Like Ace says, we obsessed with it because we were saying earlier, is that we can talk hours about touch, like all kinds of scenarios because we've been there, we've done it, and we just want to get better at it. And that's how we became friends all along. So whatever time it might be, yes, we might be tired, but if someone says, hey, are you keen to go and play? Yeah, why not?
Because it's got to be super fit.
Exactly.
You can't just be marching on. And
even if you're not fit, fairly. So like if someone just says, come, let's go play for an hour, you just do it because you enjoy that much. You have that passion for it. So it's not just like, oh, no, I can do it another day. Like we're always looking forward to that.
But what do you envy the most, though, when you look at the other nations who've got it right, who've got the structure right, who've got the funding right? What do you envy about them when they step forward to come and play?
Oof. What I envy about them is that they come together like throughout the year. So for us, it's just like seasonal.
Yeah.
So for them, it's throughout the whole year, they come together. And like you say, the structure's already there for them. So it's easier for them. For us, it's a lot harder, but we make it work. So I envy that they do it throughout the year and they can, anytime is tea time for them.
Sure. And just overall, though, Daniel, because at the end, they look to you for the guidance, they look to you for the leadership, and maybe sometimes answers you don't even have as well. What then do you tell those that don't believe in the journey? I think I was saying it off air that if we had to, or I had to, or somebody else, to almost push a Saru to say, guys, listen, try and be fair, a fraction of maybe one of the multiple sponsors that you do have, which you have earned, can't you just divert, especially in a time like this, to get individuals across for a World Cup where you will be bearing the South African flag? You're not doing this individually. You there as South Africa. You'll be singing the anthem as South Africans. Is that something feasible? I mean, have conversations like that ever happened?
They have happened. I've sat in the board meetings at the Golden Lions, presented our case, spoken to development officers, and try to get us on the on the map. There seems to be interest, but no buying. And I think the difficulty comes in that touch is a very easy sport. You need a ball and somewhere to run. You don't need goals. You don't need painted fields. You don't need grass. You just need a ball and people to play. And I think what we miss or what we forget is that sport, especially in this country, I mean, our late president said the unifying factor of sport. We forget what the sport can do for people. I look around my community, and maybe, might be a little sad, but I don't have a single friend that doesn't play the sport. It's my life. Every birthday I have, I go out on the weekends, it's people that play the sport.
Same group.
And I think it's the same group. And I think if I were to say to a corporate, what can you do for us? You can change someone's life.
And from your side, Kristin, I mean, what would be that one item? You got somebody who's driving on the road right now, listening and saying, I didn't know about this, but now that I do, and they get excited. What in your journey, in the long journey that you've had up until where you are now, would you say it has a potential to do?
Someone who wants to join, touch, and play, is that?
Yeah, that, and also just assist.
Yeah, so I think from a player perspective, absolutely come and join.
Yeah.
I think why we've all stuck around for so long is because it's different to every sport I've ever played. And I think people watching it might seem we're running around and we're passing and it doesn't look intricate, but every single thing that happens on a touch rugby field is premeditated. It's a dynamic game. It's a clever game. It's a game where you are constantly thinking, what is the next move? And it's down to the finest detail. And I think that's probably my favorite part of touch rugby is that you've got to be a mastermind behind the game to make it happen and to beat top teams and to be a top player.
Got to be shrewd.
That's puppet master. Yeah, I call it being a puppet master.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are fine-tuning things down to the T, but probably one of the fastest sports as well. The game never stops. There's no break in time. There's no break for subs. You are playing for the full 20-minute a half, rolling subs. You got to be fit. You got to be fast to keep up. From someone driving who wants to come on board, let's start the conversation. I think if you haven't heard the passion behind our voices from now, and there's hundreds of people like us who are playing touch rugby, chat to any one of us, and I think you'll be hooked from the passion and the experiences that we have had to be a part of that. It's a privilege to play, and it's a very different sport, a unique sport. Anyone who tries it out will stick around. You've just got to get involved.
Yeah, because it's been held here once in Stellenbosch.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as we wrap things up, guys, we were talking as you walked in, it was about the celebration of the FIFA World Cup staged in South Africa 2010 and where everybody was at that stage. You at Greenside, matric.
Yes, sir.
Trying to make sure you passed that matric then.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Any quick memory that you have?
It was actually quite wild because it was a short year because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's all I remember is that everyone's going to be here. I have to try go watch a game. And just have a moment of saying that I was there and like I saw what it felt like. So after going there, and I'm like, now I get to represent my own country and I can also hold the flag up there.
That's exactly where I'm getting to. I love that. Kristin, where were you? Very briefly. 2010.
2010.
Because now we're saying 2010 versus 2024, because that's where you're going to be, and that's where you're going to be in living memory.
Yeah, 2010, I was still in school. I think I was blowing a vuvuzela very loud and proud. Must have been, jeepers, I think grade 5. So to now be a bit older and hold the flag for my own country on an international stage is a really, really exciting place to be, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mr. Chair, where were you?
I was at the game.
Mexico.
So I was...
Lucky bugger.
I was lucky. So, holding the flag, but just seeing what that goal did for the country, for the spectators. Everyone hugging each other, the happiness, the joy. I was being hugged and hugging people, no idea who they were. It's just celebrations.
But that's what World Cups do. That's what, the talkability about World Cups is. And that is why, I wanted you guys to come through. Let's share those moments and let's allow South Africans to take up this opportunity to make your dreams come true. And I think in everything that's been said and done, we will continue the conversation. We'll track down exactly how far you get. And if we are of assistance, we definitely will be. And I wish you guys everything of the best.
Robert, I have a challenge for you.
Yeah, please.
Come down tomorrow. We have a league that's happening on Thursday night at Zoo Lake. If you can get down there.
6:30 onwards.
6:30 is the first game.
But
the last game starts at 8 o'clock. So I challenge you and the listeners to come through and watch us.
At Marks Park?
No, Zoo Lake.
At Zoo Lake
Sports Club.
Zoo Lake Sports Club tomorrow from 6 o'clock.
Thursday night.
Thursday night from 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. I'm up for the challenge. See you there.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hashtag MSW live
Now.
on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. Hashtag MSW.